Milltek exhaust installation. So we're going to be putting on this Catback system on Brandon's 2016 Ford RS. So this may be one of the first exhaust videos that you'll see out there. I don't know how many other people have done exhaust yet, so this will be interesting. This is the resonator right here for the midsection. You can get this non-resonated. We did this to hopefully cut down on drone on the vehicle. So right now we're gonna go ahead and cut that back pipe off, and then we're gonna get down to it, start installing these parts. So there's the whole RDU on the back of this thing. Now you guys can see the actual drive shaft is super dinky. I mean, this thing is really small. It's got CV joints on it all the way, bunch of bearings and whatnot, so that's pretty cool. But this is kind of the first time I've actually checked out the drivetrain on this car. It's pretty cool. Interesting. And now this whole pipe is actually welded in just as one piece from the back. It does have a V-band clamp right here. So we're gonna be able to take that little V-band off. It's not a fancy looking V-band, but it does the trick. For this job, you're gonna need some sort of cutoff tool. So you could use like a Sawzall if you wanted to, but that's not gonna be as clean if you ever wanted to weld this back in. So Brandon picked up this handy dandy little exhaust pipe cutter. So I'll put a link to one of those below if you guys are doing the job of this, and that's gonna help out take this off really easily. And then hopefully we can get it off in 2 pieces. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we're cutting that pipe out real quick. See how this thing works. It's working pretty good, really.
Yeah, it's already cut through.
There we go. So we just used this little chain cutter tool. It's about 35, 40 bucks on Amazon. You're gonna wanna pick one of those up to make your life easy. You can do this installation on the ground. We have a lift, so we're doing it on a lift because it makes it a lot easier. But really, it shouldn't be too complicated. Doing a catback system is really, really basic, but this one is going to require some sort of cutting tool. All right, guys, so there are just the tips right there. Got some black tips on this thing. It actually uses the factory motor for the, what is that for? It's kind of like a baffle, right?
It's an exhaust valve.
Yeah. So,
you can see it in here.
It'll open and close, make it louder or quieter,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's like, the law just kind of weird on it. Like when you're cruising, the door shuts, you know, so there's no drone. Like a cold starter opens, but when you're sitting idling for a while, it shuts down. So it, I don't know.
It's pretty cool.
Bob's gonna have some where they have control of the valve so it stays open and closed.
Nice.
When you want it to, but it kind of does weird stuff. But yeah, it keeps it quiet when you need to, and give it full boogie, it opens up.
Hell yeah. So this is the pipes all laid out, guys. So we're gonna put them in there. This is the resonated version here. This is all 3-inch pipe. Going back to the mufflers. You can see all the Milltek stuff. Really cool how they stamped their little stainless steel thing on there. So Brandon's just taking off that V-band right now. What size was that, guy?
16.
16 millimeter, kind of an oddball. Maybe not for Ford, but for any of the metric cars out there, it's kind of an oddball size. So this V-band clamp is proving to be a bit challenging to get off, so we're trying to wedge something in there so that we can get it to pop off. Okay, if you guys can see up in here, there is a little grooved area. It looks like that grooved area kind of locks this V-band on. So the trick for this is putting a BFS, big freaking screwdriver, right in between here. You can get a little bit of tension. That'll pop the V-band loose. Yours may not be that much of a pain in the ass. This car is literally like, what, 2 months old?
Yeah.
So you would think it would come off a lot easier because it wasn't at the Ford manufacturer too dang long ago. Trying to wiggle it on out of there. V-band tip. There's just the tip of it right there.
Just the tip.
There it is. So here's the new little adapter from Milltek. We're gonna try to put that back on the V-band, and we gotta hook this all back up.
Spread it out. There we go.
There we go. Just a little bit of brute force from strongman Brandon over here. Okay, so we're just popping out those back little brackets right there. These are all pretty simple. If you guys have ever messed with an exhaust system before, it's pretty straightforward. You just kind of pop these little clamps out. It's got these little nubs here, and you can lube these up a bit, and that may help you out. Also, you're gonna have to disconnect this little guy right here. This is a weather pack connector. So you just push on the back right here, and then that will pop right out of this thing right there. The stock muffler right there. Here's the Milltek one. in pieces as we're assembling it. This thing weighs a lot. What do you think that thing weighs?
I don't know, 40, 50 pounds. I don't know. It's pretty heavy.
So it should lighten up the back. So Brandon's just opening up these flanges just a little bit. That way it slips on there a little bit better before we put the clamps on. And also we got to put the clamp on first.
Exactly.
That's very important, or else you're gonna do the job twice. All right guys, and I know everybody wants to know what does this thing sound like with the downpipe basically open, just the cats on it. So if you were to straight pipe the car all the way back, so let's fire this thing up and see how it sounds. Pretty good.
Yeah. What?
So overall, that downpipe really is not that loud, open piped. I mean, that catalytic converter in there, it really quiets it down quite a bit. So the design internally kind of looks like a MagnaFlow. I'm assuming this is just wrapped with some sort of like fiberglass in here or something like that. But it's a straight through design, so it'll quiet it up a bit. Get a little bit of that rasp gone, hopefully, and cut down on drone as well. So right here, you got that little adapter from the stock downpipe. Now, if you get a aftermarket downpipe, Milltek makes one actually, and that would then delete this little piece right here, so you wouldn't have to use this. But for now, we have the stock downpipe. Now, the other mods that are done to this car are the Turbo Smart blow-off valve. We got a Turbo Smart internal wastegate actuator on there. You can kind of see it up there. It's got the sound suppression system for the turbo, because if you don't put that on there, it'll make your car sound like a Coke bottle every time you're driving down the road. And then it's got the access port tune. We're over here at FW Motorsports out here in Rockland, California, and then Travis from Snail Performance did all the tuning on this thing. So it's pumped up quite a bit so far, making good numbers and drives really well. All right, so we sprayed some silicone spray up on that little thing right there. Slips right in really easy when you do that. If you don't put any lube on there, you're gonna be fighting around with that. Sparko's making sure we're doing a good job, sitting in his office chair. So I'm gonna show you guys how it sounds resonated. It's gonna quiet it down quite a bit, and then we're gonna slap the rest of this exhaust on. So we're just bolting up all the clamps on this thing right now, and then we're gonna put on the tips after that. It's looking good so far. This exhaust system is a lot lighter, and it looks really nice. It's got some really good quality to it, so check this exhaust system out, guys, if you are interested in it. This is the Milltek exhaust for the Ford Focus RS, and this is a resonated version. So we'll do some sound clips later, rev it up, maybe do a launch, couple flybys, something like that. So cool. To take off the nuts right there, those are 8mm on this little valve motor. So we're pulling that off right now, and then we're gonna throw it onto the new exhaust system.
Yeah, just gotta make sure that spring is clocked in with the grooves in the new valve right there.
Right there. So we'll bolt that all together. And it looks like the Milltek one actually came with new nuts and hardware, so it's got nice shiny nuts. On the little tailpipe section right now. We got this one in with a little motor there. And we're sliding this one on right now.
This is the hard part. You wanna make sure
it looks right.
Everything's even, and try to leave everything loose and make sure it's centered and all that jazz.
Lots of jazz. So we're lowering it down. We got those all kind of just finger tight on there right now so that we can get the level looking good. Nice looking tips sticking out of the back. And they blend in really good. It's got that nice white and black theme going on. Doing the shakedown test, making sure nothing rattles or vibrates against anything. It looks really good. So this is Brandon's personal car. He had a RS Subaru before this. What, a 98? 98.
The best year.
Thing was badass. Now our buddy Ryan has it, but that car is pretty cool. This is another cool car. Traded an RS for an RS, so good idea, right? We're gonna do an initial start of the car. We have not started it up yet with it all done up. What do you think about it, Brandon? What do you think it's gonna sound like?
Probably be really quiet. But
Yeah.
that's good though, you know? Less drone, less attention from cops. Don't like that.
Yeah, it's making good power, so
Yeah. It'll pick up power, just be quiet.
yeah. And it probably gained a lot of weight reduction, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Ton of weight. That's probably the big benefit of it. Probably dropped a lot of weight out of the car.
Yeah, and it was a little restricted before, right?
Yeah, they had a few spots where the pipe was really crunched down. So this one's a full 3-inch, all mandrel bent. So it's gonna be good for flow.
Alright guys, so that is basically a cold start right there. The pipe is open, so both exhaust flaps are open right now. It's a lot quieter, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty quiet.
Sounds good though. Overall it has a good tone to it, but if you want something a little bit louder, I'd probably recommend not doing the resonator if you want to get something louder. Guys, so we're gonna do some just normal takeoffs right now just to kind of get you an idea of how the tone of the car sounds. So that sounds cool.
Yeah. All right, launch party. Cruise control on. Oops.
All right. Is that your first launch in this thing, or have you launched it before?
Second or third.
Second or third? So overall, the pops that it gets, the backfires,
Way louder.
way louder. So
Way
those
louder.
sound really cool. It sounds like, to me, it's like a Roman candle. You know when it pops up in the air and it salutes.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the noise it makes. It's a lot deeper.
Yeah, and it's a lot like snappier.
Yeah, it's like.
It's very loud. It probably scares them.
So that sounds cool. Yeah, you could probably think like someone's gonna think you're setting off fireworks or something like that. So overall though, the in-car driving, like driving around, it's pretty quiet, right?
Yeah, we'll have to do some cruising, you know, down the freeway and whatnot. It's pretty quiet, you know, with the resonator. So, like I said, you want something louder, get something without a resonator. But
That sounds rad.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's pretty quiet. It's a little bit louder than stock, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So sounds pretty good.
Recommended or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the power's going to pick up from the flow and also the weight you're going to save. That's the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fit and finish with the Milltek, I mean,
That's pretty nice.
perfect.
Yeah. I think, what do you think it probably picks up in weight? I would bet you shed like 30 pounds.
Maybe. Yeah. Probably quite a bit.
Something close to that. I mean, I guess we could have weighed it. We didn't weigh it. Sorry about that, guys. But definitely that stock muffler. Oh my God, that thing was beef. So
Night and day.
the mid pipe section. Not that it's two pieces or anything, but that was pretty light, that area. But I think mostly just the muffler area was a lot lighter. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right, guys. So there will be, I'm sure, more videos to come on this car. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Later. Wrench on. Thanks, Brandon, for doing some fun stuff on the car.
Yay.
More parts. Always a good time.
Oh, more coming too.
More coming. There'll be more. Subscribe. Fire extinguisher's over there. You shouldn't have to use it, so let's get to it.